What's up, everybody? I'm Johnny Boy, and this is my 2021 Kawasaki Z. Wait a minute. What's up, everybody? I'm Jason Britton, and this is Johnny Boy 2021 ZX6R. Where's he? Johnny Boy. This is Johnny Boy. This is his 2021 ZX6, and today we're going to build his bike so you guys can see all the inside pro secrets and tips.
This is how it should be done. Don't sweat the technique. Cause it's real fast. Cause I'm master this.
All right, since we put her in forward, we're gonna start at the back end this time and take the back end apart, do everything we need back here, and yeah.
Just because you're not using this thing anymore, this exhaust butterfly, doesn't mean you want to strip it out. So what I always do is I crack it loose here. Okay, run that nut all the way down, loosen this all the way up, get you some slack up top. Run it all the way down there, okay? And then, you see that? Oh, you gotta pop this off, my bad. Pop this clip off that holds this in place. Okay, that is off. Now you're free. Boom. These things come right out, okay? We gotta take the, we gotta loosen these nuts over here. But yeah, there's no need to strip and damage things. We're going into Johnny Boy's box of extras. Okay, and then we've just got a couple plugs to fight with.
So we took that out. That's your servo, and that's another thing that the ECU flash allows you to take off without having any sensors stripped.
So for me, the easiest way to get these cables out of here, they got a bracket back here. If you just go right here, take these guys off, you will see there's a little bracket right here that will try and make your life miserable getting those cables out. Take that bracket off, the cables are free. When you're working with all this stuff, I'm really particular. Not everyone is, but I know that I am. Would be with my brand new bike. So it wouldn't be any different for Johnny Boy's brand new bike. I like to decorate the vital parts with this nifty, neat blue tape. You'll thank me later. We have to now go under the tank. See, that's why I put that blue tape there. I knew there was a reason. We're gonna have to pop the tank so we can start unplugging the sensors and things like that. For the wheel speed sensors, in this case, Johnny Boy rides in a lot, so he's not gonna use wheel speed sensors. I always get rid of them. You don't need them unless you need mile per hour, and you get a bracket that has a fitment for a wheel speed sensor. So we will move on to here.
So make sure when you're pulling this up that you're getting this out. There's a little tab that goes inside here. You try to yank this up, you could tear all this up. So
yeah, it'll snap back.
remember to pull this out before you pull the tank up.
Key important factor. Release the shift linkage when you are taking these off. Do that first so you don't have to do it with it in your hand. Okay, so for me, what I like to do while I'm here, since we're getting rid of this guy, I like to go ahead and do that while I got that off. And I'll go ahead because we're not going to be using it. Okay, big sprocket, you cannot utilize that. So I will crack these bolts. This one. This will go in the counting board box. There's a pin. That's the only thing holding it on is there's a pin right in here. Probably can't see it, but you can see the location at least. Get the idea.
Chain time.
Oh, we get to use
The new one.
the brand new 30,000 RPM snap-on tool. Okay? So, as we all know, safety first. You only get one pair of eyes. Use them. Save the eyes, people. Not that big a deal. Okay? All right. Now, just picked this guy up from Snap-on. Pretty stoked about it. We're going to give it a try and see how it actually functions in real world. That's just idling. We're going to go for about, I don't know, we'll see. Like a hot knife through butter. Jeez. One way to do it, to remove the chain, is with this. It still ruins the pins, so I just cut them off. It's a lot quicker, as you can see. By the time you get your chain tool in there and do all that, you can. There it goes. All right. Have some protection for your motorcycle swing arm ready when you go to pull the wheel out. Okay, so we're gonna just slide this guy out, chain falls off, and put that bit of protection in there. We're not utilizing any of this. You know why? Because Johnny Boy has brand new Cormoto wheels with the bling bling big rotor kit set up and ready to go. Now we're going to bleed off whatever fluid here that we have. We're going to pull it out, break out our bleeder tool. I'm using all the cool tools today. And you cannot bleed this off without removing the reservoir cap. I know all this seems like common sense stuff, and why am I saying it, but you never know. So not everyone knows everything. That's why you're watching the video, because we don't all know everything, including myself. Next thing, pop this guy off right here. So this is going to need to come off anyways. Paper towel, anything. Now that there's not really any fluid in there, there's a little bit that's a little bit residual. So I just grab a little rag and just try and keep it contained. Keep this all together because this could get messy on you quick. Even though there's not very much fluid, there's like a minimal amount. Gloves and blue tape. Not the best team out there, but now you guys will thank me for this later. Get it. Okay, there's that. So you remove one, and then you got a little 10 millimeter bolt right there. So I took this fairing bolt off because it's kind of up in there, and you know, I'd rather err on the side of safety, not damage. Brand new bodywork. And this guy should not give me any kind of fight, no problem. Slide right out. Weight savings at its best, okay? If we were to put this on the scale, you would see what I'm talking about. All right, you guys wonder why I'm so particular about weight. you're putting that load on the bike, creating extra work for the motorcycle when it has extra weight. So you can trim your body up, but why not trim the bike up as well? Make everything easier. That means the impacts are less because you're carrying less weight and inertia to the ground when you crash. And it's just a lot better for everything personally. So I like a light bike. My bike's with fuel in them, ready to ride, weigh 398 pounds with the Yuasa YTX 9BS, not a lithium battery. And yeah, I'm proud of that. And I'll continue trying to shave weight. My ideal weight for my stunt bike is 375 pounds. If I can achieve that without going and breaking the bank, it'll be incredible. You can pull the old brand new chain out.
All right, so I'm gonna run the M4 exhaust on here. That just goes right in place. And it comes with another bolt. There you go.
Done.
Done deal. So I've always used joke riders, but Jason told me about this SS Moto handbrake setup that he's been using. So we're gonna try that out. It looks really nice, feels great. The rotor is 310 millimeters.
310 millimeter.
So 310. So that with the Behringers should be really nice.
Lots of brake power. I like to take the bracket, slide it into place.
Now this one, you told me there's two positions. So it's got two positions. So he's putting it on the lower position is where the bracket's going.
For the new, I think 13 or 09 to 21.
And it comes with a
Tab saver.
tab saver, which is something, it's a must. If you're gonna have big brakes, you need to have that tab saver. Not every carrier is gonna have that tab saver available, so make sure if you look, I would definitely look at this SS Moto, but if not, make sure it has a tab saver, or otherwise it's not worth getting.
This down a little bit. All right. Core Moto. Okay. There's another adjust. I can't see that side.
You're good, just all the way through.
All right, so highly recommended if you're a cordless individual like myself, the Milwaukee M18 Fuel brushless half-inch cordless impact. This thing is incredible. I've never been stopped. Huh. Like nothing. Make your life easier. Invest. Milwaukee stuff isn't that expensive. And this is going to be a knock to Snap-on, but that thing outperforms it. I got 2 Snap-ons sitting in my toolbox. I don't even touch them. So that's just food for thought. Let that sink in. And I'll just give it a little zap. We'll go ahead and put the chain on and tighten everything up. See? You gotta read. Wear your safety goggles. Magic. Magic. Yep, and that's where we measure twice, cut once. Silly little things that we should already know. Obviously, I'm going to put some of this on the O-ring for the master. Right? Put a little bit on these guys as well. Pop this guy in. Dodge the spam call. That's how we do it. Get your own little Deadpool music, or wherever that's from. I don't even remember actually. So I'll take the new master link and I'll squeeze it on there by hand just to get it started. I'm going to try and make this so you guys can see it. And then I just run this old faithful Motion Pro rivet tool. You always want to have this guy on there. Just makes it a little bit easier to hold in place. Okay. And then you line this dude up right here. Hold with the good hand and pull with the bad. And what you're doing essentially is just getting the rivets to poke out a little bit, right? And then I'm going to try and show you what it looks like. Normally I wouldn't remove it completely, but you're getting the rivets to kind of flush out. And then you can kind of see, because this guy has to line up kind of like, see how it's locked in place? So you're going to want to make sure to not have it crooked, because then it'll push the rivets out the other side, or it'll just smash the rivet. You don't want to do that. So you want to kind of take it slow. So you'll tighten a bit, and then once you get the rivets to pop through a bit, you'll check it one more time and explain why. Now it'll be a better way to understand what I'm talking about. Come on. Okay, now rivets are popping through a little bit. That locks into place, right? So otherwise, if you don't have it lined up, you could actually smash that rivet. I don't know if you guys are seeing that action, but yeah, if you don't have it lined up, you could be pushing against the rivet and just tweaking stuff. So this is something I recommend. Take your time with it. You know, it's not a huge deal. If you're in a huge rush, wait until you have the time to do it the right way. Now, so this part, we're gonna squeak these rivets out just enough, and then you kind of look at your master link versus, get a better shot of this. Kind of to figure out where you're good is you'll try and get your master link to look like your other links. So that looks pretty darn close. I'm gonna pop this off and call that good, I think. And then we'll show you what we're working with here. All right, so yeah, the spacing on the master link feels identical. So that's perfect. Now, we take the tool and we're gonna flip it and use that side on there. Actually, we'll use this. All right, so one of the attachments, that's to flare the rivet on the master. Another area that you got to be careful, okay, because if you flare too much, you could crack that riveted part of the master. So you'll just go until it mushrooms out just a little bit. Here. That's a nicely riveted chain. And that's how it should look. It shouldn't be all, these outside edges will crack if you press too hard. It'll ruin the brand new chain or the brand new master that you just installed. So pay attention to that. Good? Yep. Make sure you flatten this guy out, okay? Very important. The Milwaukee is strong as heck, but these bikes make a lot of power. So make sure you crush that counter sprocket nut. We can reinstall the cover. Okay, chain slack looks good. Johnny's gonna go and ride it and completely change that in like 15 minutes, but yeah. Chain will have to be readjusted. Brand new chains tend to stretch a whole bunch, so that will be a continuous battle until the chain's done stretching for a bit. You'll grab your whatever tool you have that can give you torque. 93.8. Actually, the front is 93.8 and the back is 97 for the new ZX6. Okay? That changed from 13 to 18 to the 1920.
So I would say,
all right,
like,
for those of you looking, pull the tail section off, flip this little centerpiece up. ECU sits right here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Unplug the relays. Show you real quickly. Need two hands here for that. Unplug these guys. Sometimes a bit difficult, for sure. Okay, get those unplugged. And then for me, I generally pull the relays out first. And this is now after the exhaust butterfly motor is removed from back here. So it gives you a little more space, right? And then you're gonna unplug the two ECU plugs, unplug those, slide the ECU out and up, and you're good to go. Send it on into No Limit Motorsports, get it flashed, and get rolling again.
so we're flashing the ECU. Something
Johnny
you gotta do.
Boy, ECU needs a flash. New bike, new flash.
Flash. 03 and up, you can get flashed here at No Limit. So, but for sure, the new bikes, you want to get flashed. You want to take all the
Parameters out and change them. Give it new parameters, give it better fueling, change your fan temps, all the crucial stuff, timing, advance or retard, or not in a derogatory way, advance or recede.
So in order to get the tank off, you got to take this, what we're working on now, you got to get that thing undone so you can get to the bolt that actually takes the tank off.
We will eventually have to take that off, so tank off.
All right, so the tip sensor is what we're going to hit now, and we got to take the battery off. We got to take all of this little bracket off that holds the battery, and then the tip sensor is right under here.
Bottom. Just watch that on the bearing. Yep, good. And one more.
All these bolts.
And we are 5 threads from a freed up tip sensor. Just like that. Boom.
There it is.
I take a very small hammer, and these have these little notches on them, and I try and knock them down a little bit because these things are made to never come off. Okay. Everyone has their own way. This is what works for me. Okay. And we're free. Okay. So, managed to get your tip over sensor open. Now you take and pour all that into your hand. Whether you're going to save it or not, that's up to you. Line this all back up, and you're just going to close it. Okay? That's it. Closing it back up protects it from the elements. So I always put the tip sensor back in its factory location. Just keep it out of harm's way for the most part. And that way it doesn't bounce around, that cap doesn't come apart and get exposed to the elements, and it's safe, and you know where to find it if you're looking for it. Alright. That goes with your hardware. Shimmy up on both sides a little, just consistent pressure up.
This is coming out.
There it is. Just got it. Takes it. You got one hose hooked on your side? Sure. Right here. Right here.
What do you use that thing?
Yeah. Consistent. Just a consistent push up against the plastic.
I like that. I'm gonna get one of those.
All right, so we are about to remove the plug for the pair valve. Jeez.
She's in there. So this is all part of what we're doing for the clean air bypass. We're going to
Got it.
remove all of this, and then we're gonna run from the
Breather.
Breather.
Crankcase breather.
we're gonna have another breather up here instead of having it go up to the air box, so we get nice, fresh, clean air and not recycled air from the crankcase.
Pull that out. There you go. One arm bandit.
It's that glove.
One arm bandit. I can't do anything. I can't even unplug plugs. Okay, ignition, we're removing. Johnny Boy is an ignition-less individual. It's also going to be a run switch-less individual here soon. So we're basically just going to unplug all of these deals. All right, so that is unplugged. Left-hand switch. It's been unplugged. We're going to unplug wheel speed sensor for the front because we don't need that. We're going to unplug run switch. We don't need that. This is the run switch plug. This is the wheel speed sensor plug. You ask how I know all this? Because I'm a Kawasaki geek. Okay. That's free. And then, yeah, we'll pull all the fluid out. We need a Phillips screwdriver. Ordinarily, this isn't the way to do it. But when you are not using any of these parts, okay, and you're not reusing any of these parts, there's no point. There's no point in taking these pieces off individually as if we're going to be using this stuff again, because we're not. But these are awesome. Just so you know, these come with the Brembo brake setup. I use them religiously for this caliper mess that we make. Okay, get a rag, get ready for whatever's left. Of course, the phone rings, and it's Caleb. What's up, Caleb? Cordless. All right. So now we did this right. Push on that front wheel a little bit, pull up, and boom. There's all that. Watch it. Those twist a little bit. The only way to do it. All at once.
So there's a few wires you got to take off, all the smog stuff. That was one that went right here in front of this thing, right on the bottom. So you gotta take them off. You gotta make sure you plug them back up. So swapping these out for these.
Yep, no more holes. All right, so Johnny boy caught me drilling out his brand new plastics. But he wants a switch, so this is stuff that you got to do. So we do have a kit that we designed for this setup. We're just about there, close, but no C-guard. So it's all plug and play. All you got to do is drill your holes, run your wiring through as such, okay? And then get your washer and your nut, slide it over the wiring, just like so. Push it on that switch a little bit. Okay, grab your trusty wrench, hold in place, and tighten. All right, one down, one to go. For this one, we got a little bit bigger hole, and we're gonna take and grab our trusty file, because this bigger one has a slot. If you guys pay attention here, you see that slot right there? That's to keep it aligned, okay? So I always line that slot up so the switch goes up and down. Not any weird side to side or anything. Just on, off, on, off. Now you can see it's up and down, boom.
Just to clarify, so I bought this. This is to eliminate the key. You don't need a key anymore. It's gonna put a switch on the top so I can just put the bike in.
Yeah, everyone talking about push to start. This is the ignition. On, off. Start, off, on.
Yeah, so that will eliminate any keys, having to do anything except for just hit that button, hit the start switch, and start right up and off to the lot. Everything that I've that we're putting on this bike, you can order here at the shop. This is a specialty of his, but everything was bought here, with the exception of a couple things that you can get here. I just went factory direct because I'm sponsored, but everything on this bike can be bought here. So everything you're seeing here, if you want to build something like this, you just call the shop and order it.
But right now, we need to address the radiator. Get that out of the way. Wow. Okay, and then you have to wire together. This comes off. That's all kind of lined up. In place.
So this is the dual fan setup bracket you can get here. This way, my other one I just had them welded up, but this is a lot more convenient. Just get the bracket, put it on, buy your R6 fans, and there you go. You're just gonna have to wire this up so that the wire them up to the old wiring, and then it'll turn on at I think Jason had mine at 150 degrees. It'll turn on.
Also, when you add dual fans, you got to change the fan fuse to a 25 amp fuse. It doesn't pop the fuse.
25 amp. What's in there now? 15?
Yep.
We cut the wire off the stock fan so we can use the harness. This way it'll be easier just to plug and play.
Yep. You guys may or may not want to do this, but when you reinforce the radiator or put a radiator cage, it gets a little thicker. It will not go through this plastic because there's now a brace. It's almost twice the thickness. So, Johnny's brand new 2021, we've got to come in here and slice the deal. So yeah, I do use Super 33 plus electrical tape over a soldered connection. Not going to have any issues with that wiring, that connection. You're going to pull a wire out or break a wire before you break that soldered connection. Got a lot of heat in it, and we will be good with that. I can guarantee it. There you go. Beautiful. Now we have clearance for the bigger, beefier bracket. All right. I'll actually feed the wires through and I'll grab them. Okay, there's 3, 4, 5. All the wires fed through. All right. When you get your keyless ignition, you're going to have this yellow button, which is your start. You're going to have to drill your hole and run these wires through. These are not plugged in to this yet because this will not fit through that hole. So we would never be able to fish that through there. So what you got to do is you got to plug these wires in after you drill your hole and mount your deal. So there's only one way that these can go. Click. You heard that click. If not, listen up. It goes one way only, so you can't screw it up. Click. That's it. And then you're going to close this. Once that's done, it's just the same way. This will fit through for the on-off, but the other will not. So once you get your switches mounted and ran, you can go ahead and plug that in. You'll plug in your ignition, and you will also plug in this guy. don't know if you can see under here, but this is your run switch, okay? We're gonna go ahead and flip that the right way first. Okay, that's plugged in. And depending on which way you run this, you can run the loop, which the fuel pump will be primed. We also give you guys another option. You can plug this guy in right here. Okay, I don't know if this will be very understandable, but if you plug this one in, this is basically like this is basically the run switch being clicked to the on position all the time. If you guys want to, if you guys are street riders, you can run wires right here. See how they're not looped? To a switch, okay? This goes to one side of the switch, this goes to the other side of the switch. When you click this off, it'll be like turning your run switch off. When you click it on, it'll be like turning your run switch on, which will then prime the fuel pump and all that'll work again. So the thieves can't get your bike. They can find your on-off switch for your ignition. It means nothing because they cannot steal your bike because you don't have a fuel pump. So they'll still have to pick it up, put it in the back of a truck. So Johnny Boy will be riding in the lot. He won't need that, so he'll be good like that. I'm gonna plug in the fan, and then we'll move on to the final part of the wiring here that we have to do to make this whole thing really, really sweet. There is one more trick, guys, right here, okay? Remember, the key to this flash working properly and giving you the most optimal usage out of it, you have to go in and find this plug on the 2021 and earlier to 2019, I should say, not and earlier. You're gonna have your clutch safety switch, which is the orange and white, red and green, okay? What I do to keep it simple, so I don't have to cut a harness or anything, I'll dig into my bag of tricks right here, and I will grab a wire jumper, okay? Now, this wire jumper you guys are gonna make everyone jealous with all your wealth of bike knowledge when you're teaching your friends that didn't see this video. You're gonna be like, dude, how'd you learn that? Yeah, I spent some time, figured it out. But what I do is, you can get in here, Johnny. Screwdriver. Basically, you got to fish these wires in. All right, that looks good. Now we're gonna have to test this. Okay, now you just take that, click that back together. Your bike stays, for the most part, factory. When you're done with that, just unclick it and you're good. Or you can just leave it like that. Now, what we're gonna wanna do is, just to confirm, I always like to double check everything. Unfortunately, you guys didn't get to see that we tested the fans prior to installing the radiator on the bike when they were bolted onto the radiator. So, I've got years and years of electrical experience, so I know that things can seem perfect, but they might not be. There could be any little thing wrong. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead, get my meter, because all we want to do is make sure we have continuity in there. So we're going to put the meter onto ohms and get our little alarm. That way when we have continuity, we'll have a solid beep like that. Okay? So what we're doing is we're confirming that we've got continuity right here from those wires that I just crimped together. We got continuity. That means we're good. We don't have to do anything else. Now, that's a key important factor right there, because If you don't jump that, you guys will get a neutral map. Your flash won't really be benefiting you as much as it potentially could. Make sure to jump your clutch safety. Otherwise, your bike, which it doesn't know any better, thinks it's in neutral. It'll feed a neutral map, and the bike won't run nearly as strong. You'll get all the lights, bells, and whistles flashing on the dash. You won't be happy. And you'll be calling me saying, hey, my bike's got all these crazy lights and so on and so forth. And then I'll tell you, jump the clutch safety. All right. Now, the other important factor is you're going to go into your box of fuses right here, okay? Or maybe not. Oh, we've got one left on this box. Grab yourself 25 amp fuse, okay? Got to get focused. Technology's getting us right now.
All right.
Get you a 25 amp fuse. You're going to come to this side of the bike, okay? It's nice when everything is off of it. You can really access everything. You're going to go down to fan. You've got meter, which is a 7.5 amp. It's the one just above that, which is a 15 amp, okay? Meter, 7.5, 15 amp, right above it. Take your needle nose grabbers, pull. That one's out. Take the 25 amp, boom, pop it in, and you're done. It's that simple, okay? Now, all of the little technical stuff is, for the most part, done. All we got to do is tighten up the wiring, button it back up. Oh, one thing. Don't want to forget this. Wanted to show you guys this. So, this is the ground wire that lets you know it'll ground to make the light come up on that run, that ignition switch. So what I do is I open this a little bit. I cut it out because it's a little bit too small for the bolt. I open this just a tad. Okay. Now you take that, pop it onto your Graves smog block offs. Once you get it a little closer to tight. So you guys won't have to go searching for another ground location since you already have these off. Now you can see why I did not tighten this side completely. All right. And I feel like we're in a good, livable place with all the wiring. Grab the air box, which is somewhere on the ground.
Still gotta.
No, I just want to. I just like to test everything. Okay. So that's there. All right. Now we're just gonna. We got light, camera, and we would have, if we needed, action. Okay. Now, if you guys want to bench test this, you can click it into first gear, but I recommend just lightly tapping since we don't have a clutch. The bike would like to start, but yeah. That's just testing the clutch safety. Yeah, so you guys know why I put this back on. This is a sensor. We'll get a code on the dash if we don't have all the sensors plugged in. So that's kind of crucial, especially if you don't have the tool. I have the tool to clear the code.
So basically, what happens, just to make this clear, if you don't hook everything up and you turn this switch on and something's not hooked up, you're going to throw a code. And you can't just restart your bike and have it go away.
When you plug it all back up.
Yeah, you're going to have to actually, there's a standalone little device that you got to hook into your computer and reset it like that. So you would, if you don't have that, you would have to go to a shop and get that done before you could actually ride safely. Because
the bike will want to go into limp mode.
Yeah, the code will stay on until you turn it off.
And you don't want to see that yellow check engine light on your dash. It sucks. It's a bummer. All right, so the pinch bolts for these beautiful Impact Tech clip-ons, I don't ever crank them. I just get them snug, good little pull, and call it good. Because if you do happen to go down, you don't want to start snapping stuff. You want stuff to be able to swivel with a fair amount of load on it. So if these things were to have an impact, they would probably slide a little bit rather than just break stuff. So I don't crank all this stuff down. I tighten it to where it's not going to move under general riding, shuffles, and wheelies and all that, but I don't crank it down.
Levers coming up.
Almost time for levers. Quickest, easiest way for me to install this brand new Impact Tech Easy Pull clutch lever. I use leverage. It's my friend, and I'm going to show you right now why. All right, so I'm hanging on the end of this lever, and all I do is give it a pull. Boom, pops right in. Instead of trying to pull from the lever side or from the cable side and pull out and stretch, you can do that, or you can loosen up the clutch adjustment and do all that, which you're going to end up adjusting anyways a little bit. But we're here, and that's simple, so that's what it is. All right, guys, we got a pro tip for you here. For me personally, I got such bad OCD. I like my cables to all be really clean, so I will take small zip ties, and I'll do 2 or 3 of them up here at the clutch cable and the handbrake line, and just kind of run them together, so that way you don't have any drag or anything weird happening, cables getting tangled up. Maybe not for you, but for me, make sure that the zip ties are all clocked the same direction. Otherwise, it will drive me, crazy. All right, same thing, a little more housekeeping here. Just kind of want to make all this stuff really clean. That way the cables run together and all stay really smooth. So, a couple zip ties there for good measure. Get your zip tie cutters. And beautiful.
So running the SS Moto upper stay, and one of the nice things is I can put these in here, put the cap on, and they stay in place. No reservoirs floating around and in the way. Nice and tidy.
Nothing causing you problems. Did a pre-bleed to get fluid into the master. Always start there. I always start there. Rolling, and then start the furthest away from the master cylinder to get the best result. Ready? All right, guys, another little trick on this SS Moto Top Triple. There's a little crossbar in here. This center screw holds that crossbar right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you loosen that screw a little bit and you rotate that crossbar until it's contacting both reservoirs, the cups, and it'll keep those in place a lot better. These things don't really have much movement. They're solid in there, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't have them jiggling around. So just another insider tip. So, just so you guys know, normally you run an 80-inch handbrake line, and with this particular handbrake setup with the way that you can adapt it to either the 0506 or the 13 to 18, 9 to current actually. We get a 5-inch longer line, so we run an 85-inch handbrake line, so we have enough slack to make this this line look clean. So you'll see when it's all done how clean the line set looks, and you'll understand why we do it this way. All right, pro tip 3982. When you're working with this throttle sleeve, I don't know if you can see these lumps on the factory sleeve, kind of keep the grip in place. When you're replacing grips with something like this, ODI Ruffian, they're very thin and you can feel everything, even all these lumps on the grips and then this little saber. You want to get rid of that. Some people use razor blades. This, super clean and magic. You just got to take your time with it, knock all these down to where it's smooth. Yes, that's a cordless Milwaukee die grinder. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Correct.
So these are something that Jason turned me on to a while, is these grip locks. So, what are these from?
ODI.
So you can order these on the ODI website, and it just, if you ever had that problem of your grip kind of making its way in, this will stop all that.
All right, we are doing clean air mod, and we just take a unifilter breather. We'll run that right up here, right in the back. Makes for easy access for maintenance. And no, you don't need to run it up and dump it out by your radiator so the thing pukes all over your radiator. I've done this for a lot of years. Zero issues. Take the thing out every now and then, clean it, and call it good. That's all it needs, just a little bit of TLC. Take a zip tie, throw that under there. Click this on, click that through. Yeah, we don't need to get all elaborate on the clean air mod.
All right, remove the reflector, kept the washer, and used the extra bolts that came off of the back end of the bike for the license plate holder. So now it looks nice and clean.
So for everyone in California, you're going to have a vacuum canister and this air switching or this emissions valve. If you're going to be using this for the stunt spot and not riding it on the street, then you can remove this stuff. But if not, you gotta keep it on because it would be illegal to run it that way. So we stay 100% within the guidelines. But since this bike came in a truck, it's leaving in a truck, it's never going to be out of a truck unless it's in a parking lot. We remove a little extra weight. Don't need it. It's just in the way.
Another pro tip from Jason. So there's a there's a
Rubber grommet.
rubber grommet under here. Factory, it comes on top of this and then goes through here. So instead of having to push it through both of those, just leave it on the bottom part. This way you don't have to try to sandwich it every time you have to take this apart.
Leave it on the side cowling. So, we don't need wheel speed sensor. We put that on the new wheel.
Now you roll it off screen, so not backwards.
So, was this is the right side?
Yeah.
Oh, this side?
That was your side.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. The caliper mounting bolt?
Yeah.
So it's 15, 20, or 21, 26.
15, 21, 26.
Yep.
Good to know. Good to know.
Things that make you go, hmm. Stay on the path. Stay on the path. As you guys can see, it's not all that serious and crucial. All right, guys, here we are with the new Snap-on tool of the day again, the straight cutoff wheel, cordless, no strings attached. This windscreen will probably be about a 5. We'll see how good it cuts. And you know what? Protect your eyes, people. I'm not usually smart enough to do it, so I'm gonna do it for the video. I'm gonna do it for the gram. I'm gonna do it for the tube, YouTube, that is. Yeah. And fire this guy up, and you just start cutting. Don't worry. I know it looks like a 3rd grader cut this in woodshop class. There are some final touches to be made. Okay? It's not my first rodeo. I'm going to show you guys tricks and tips to getting a flawless looking windscreen. Alright? Ready, set, go. Now, once you guys have cut your windscreen and you're looking somewhat okay, you're gonna pop this bad boy off, not out. All right, so as you can see, it looks jaggedy, it looks rough, it looks terrible. Oh my God, what have you done to my windscreen? Well, now, step 2. I highly advise rounding these edges so you don't die. How'd Johnny Boy die? Oh, the edge of his windscreen poked him and killed him. So we don't want that. We don't want Johnny boy dying over a sharp windscreen edge. So, I don't know if your camera can pick that up. There's a flat edge, there's a windscreen, and we have near perfection. You take your little deburr tool, always cut at yourself. That way you stab yourself and not like Johnny or someone. Normally I would paint these, but Johnny boy, he's going for a real clean, clear look to match his all of his raw finish parts, and we feel like it would just look better. We're just going to go ahead and clean it up once it's cut. Now that it's cut, man, what do you guys think? Drop a comment down below on this YouTube video and tell us what you think. Pretty darn clean though.
Polished finish.
Can you go to that side and get me lined up? Which way do I need to go?
Oh, you're already through, kind of. You watching?
Alright. So here is, hold the ratchet and then pull it apart. One pull it apart. Alright. So you don't wrestle with that for too darn long. Hopefully there's enough sticking through there. Yeah, push that side in. Slide it in, line the hole up, and hit the trigger. Go. There's one. Get your hardware. Line up the hole. Good. There it is. Johnny Boy's 2021 ZX6 build. What do you think?
She came out nice. And now you guys have a little insight on what you need to do to get these things built. Yeah, excited.
You're gonna get more detailed shots of everything that we did, that we talked about, that you didn't maybe catch at that moment. With the whole bike, you can look this bike top to bottom, and it will resemble basically what a factory stunt bike, in my opinion, should look like. Perfect.